My name is Lauren V. Davis, and this is the Real Personal Branding Podcast. I work with entrepreneurs and speakers and leaders who want to build a brand that people trust online and off, and one that truly makes them happy. In this business, I'm going to walk you through some questions that I ask before I say yes to an unpaid speaking gig, but these are actually questions that I would recommend asking yourself before you go to any speaking gig, any speaking event that you are asked to speak at. But one thing that I hear a lot is this very kind of binary thinking of if an event is paid, then it's good, and an event is unpaid, then it's bad. I just kind of hate that way of thinking, because just because an event is unpaid does not make it unprofitable. You kind of just have to know how to approach it. And I'm not by any means saying that you should take every free event either. If you are being asked to speak and you know that there's a budget and you know that you should be getting paid for that particular speaking gig, you should be paid for that speaking gig. But I'm going to give you some really good questions to ask yourself. And if you are working on building a brand that really wants to open more of these doors and learn more about this, I just wanted to let you know that my memorable personal brand mastermind is starting again in August. I am so excited about it. I would love for you to find out more. You can find more at the link inside my bio. Okay, I've done, dozens of speaking gigs at this moment in time that I'm recording this. Probably 100 speaking gigs, if I'm really thinking about it, between virtual summits, in-person events, big talks, small talks, workshops, facilitations, retreats, you name it. But I've also had the opportunity and honor to work with so many people who are just killing it at speaking. They're some of the most professional and successful by their own measure people that I know. And these are some of the things that I've distilled down from working with folks like that, from my own experiences, and from hosting a conference myself. I've kind of come up with a little framework for you. So there's 3 buckets, okay? The first bucket is the people and platform. So think about this. These questions that I want you to ask yourself before you take on any speaking gig they are questions about the audience alignment and the visibility that you'll get from that speaking gig. So what I want you to ask yourself is the audience aligned with my offers? Okay. If the audience matches your services, then it's going to be a warm room. If the audience has nothing to do with the things that you offer, or it's in a place that you don't necessarily think it's going to be aligned with what you have to sell, that might not be the room for you. Another question I ask within the same bucket is, can I grow my email list from this? So am I going to be able to convert about 20 to 50% of the room into email subscribers? Now, notice I didn't say social media followers. I said email subscribers, because as we both know, it is really, really, really important to get people into your own atmosphere and be able to start building trust with them. Social media is fine, but if there's anything we've learned from the last few years is certain social media platforms can go away. You can lose your ability or want to even be on a certain platform anymore. Social media platforms can change. Things can be highlighted or lowered in the algorithm on the change of a dime, and really it has nothing to do with what we want. It has everything to do with the people who are in charge of the social media platforms. So can you grow your email list from this? Do you think you could get 20 to 50% of the room to join your email list, either with a free download or with some kind of subtle cue that you leave within your presentation? If so, that might be a really good room for you. And the last question I ask myself inside the people and platform bucket is, are there going to be little connection points that I can create without straight up pitching what I do? So I encourage follow through by subtly guiding people into my digital spaces. So that guiding them to my social media by saying things like, oh yeah, on my Instagram, I'll frequently share things of value like this. Or I'll kind of build little cues in there, or hey, if you want to take a picture of this slide, and post it in your story, that's fine with me. Just make sure you tag me or make sure I look cute. My handle's L Davis Creative. I say funny things like that just to get a laugh, but also it encourages people to take pictures in the moment. Sometimes they'll even put a button on the slide that says, you can take a picture of this, and make sure that my handle is right underneath it. I create these connection points without literally saying, follow me, okay? And I do this because I want people to be subtly guided to my digital spaces where I can continue to build trust with them and continue to build a relationship with them. That moves us on to the second bucket, which is perks and promotion. I like these P's. I don't know why. Maybe it's the personal branding thing. So the question I'm going to ask first for myself within the perks bucket is my travel covered? Okay? Because even if you might not be getting a budget to speak, you might not be getting paid to speak, or maybe you are getting paid to speak, you can still ask if there is a budget for travel. Will you pay for my plane ticket or a couple nights in a hotel so I can make sure that I'm there for a long enough amount of time that no snafus are going to happen with me getting to your event venue or getting out of there? Like, I always ask, even unpaid gigs, I always ask, is there a budget for travel? Many times, and when I planned my own conference through a non-for-profit, many times organizations will have a small budget to help you cover your travel at least. Ask about it. It doesn't hurt to ask. Every speaker will ask about it. And if you ask about it, it's not going to throw up a red flag for them, or if you're a beginner speaker in any way. They're just going to say, yes, we do, or no, we don't. Does that change anything for you? The next perk, it's kind of like an invisible perk that you might not be thinking about, but is really, really important, is will you get professional photos or videos? So these are assets that are just so, so important as you're trying to get more speaking gigs, as you're kind of building your speaking reel, right? If you're going to get some really great professional photos or videos, those are going to be really high quality assets for you to have and to help you get future gigs. When I planned a conference, we were working on a non-for-profit, fully volunteer budget. So we had a small amount of budget for paying speakers, just a tiny amount of money, and then covering their travel. So again, ask for travel coverage. We did set aside money to cover their plane ticket and a few nights in a hotel. We always did that. But what I would tell them is like, hey, I know I can't pay your normal speaking fee, but this is what we'll do. We will give you a professional video. We're going to give it to you at the end with no branding on it, so you can use it for whatever you'd like. You can cut it up for reels, do whatever you would like with it. And we would also say, we're going to get you some professional photos taken by our photographer. Plus, we're going to post about you all day on social media. All of those things, I know as a speaker, are huge assets. And so don't be afraid to ask, am I going to get some professional photos or videos? Another note is always make friends with the camera person or the video person in the back of the room as you're watching other speakers. They are sometimes known to, like, shoot you a shot or something afterwards. You can't obviously guarantee that. Don't ask for it for free, but every once in a while, I know that when I make friends with the people in the back of the room who are doing those videos and doing those photos, they're generally likely to help me out or say, hey, do you want a photo? That can be really nice. Again, not guaranteed at all, but it can be nice. Okay, the last part in this second bucket is, will my talk invite meaningful post-talk engagement? And what I mean by this is, are people going to want to share about it online? Are they going to want to post social media posts about it or tag you in certain things? Are they going to want to go back and tell their conference organizer, this is who we need to have talk at our event? Think about the audience that you're serving when you are creating your talk, or when you're maybe editing your talk for that particular audience, and ask yourself, how can I make this the most valuable talk for this audience, knowing that your next speaking engagement is probably sitting there in the room. On to bucket 3. This is your proximity and your positioning. I like those P's again. These are the things that kind of really assess your networking and brand alignment potential. So, can I network before and after the talk? And what I mean is, do you have the capacity to network before and after the talk? Relationships at these events always turn into clients or collaborators in some way. So, do you have the capacity to show up a little bit before your talk, get to know the audience, and stay a little bit after your talk and spend time getting to know people? If you have that capacity, you are going to go much farther than the people that are not able to do that. All right, another question in this same bucket is, does my talk solve a real recognizable problem for this group? And I mean, is it really for this group? So, yes, I believe that you can have a few core talks and edit them for different groups that you're talking to. But ask yourself, like, is this a talk for this group, or is maybe this an event I just don't need to be at? Is this a good fit for me? Is this really a good fit for the audience? Ask yourself that. And if you can make some little tweaks in your talk to make it really beneficial for that audience, do it. And the last question in this bucket, the question that I mean, it's a very powerful question for me because I live by my values and by my core beliefs, is, am I proud to be positioned alongside this organizer or other speakers? That is a big one. Am I proud to be positioned alongside the organizer or other speakers? Let's say this event that you're saying yes to goes viral and everyone is talking about it, and you notice that there's some kind of element to the organizers of the event that just does not align with you. And I think we're going to see some of this stuff coming up, especially in the upcoming years and the year we're in right now. I mean, values are on full display right now about how people feel about things. And I think, one, that's good because now we know how people feel about things and we can act accordingly and work alongside people who share the same values, right? But you're sharing a stage, and that means you're sharing a spotlight. So make sure that you are proud of that. I hope that these questions can help you really confidently decide whether either an unpaid or a paid opportunity is worth your time and energy. It's worth your capacity. Your time and your energy and how you show up to speak is so important. I have never regretted being generous with my time, but I have definitely regretted being generous with my time without some sort of plan. If you are able to ask yourself these questions up front, you have a huge advantage. You give yourself a real chance to create momentum and energy, right, from either a paid or an unpaid opportunity. And you really set yourself up to serve the room and serve your audience, and in turn, build your personal brand. This is a great way to get people into your funnel, to start building trust, to start building more visibility, to start nurturing those relationships that will say, like, you, yes, that person, that's the one we need to have speak at our next event, or that's the person we need to hire and come do this consulting gig, or that's the person that we need to hire as our coach. That is where your opportunity lies. I break so much of this kind of stuff down in my mastermind with amazing entrepreneurs. Oh my gosh, they are so brilliant. I love working with the entrepreneurs in my mastermind. And something that's really special about my mastermind is that we have a kind of like a community group area. And so people from different masterminds can also connect with each other in there and run things by each other, get feedback from each other. It's so much fun. I actually just hosted my first in-person retreat, and the light bulb moments that were happening at that retreat were better than I could have ever even anticipated. Like, I hoped that they would happen and I built frameworks for them to happen, but watching it happen in real life was just so beautiful. And I want everyone to be a part of that. We are opening up the next round of our mastermind in August. I would really love for you to be a part of it. If you have any interest in being part of a community that is going to support you and uplift you and help you confront the little things about yourself that are holding you back, those little anchors that are stuck in the sand that are stopping you from moving forward, or just the people who you want to celebrate you. I know as entrepreneurs, it can feel a little bit lonely, and sometimes it feels like no one is there to celebrate you, or sometimes it feels like people are celebrating you and they're so supportive, but they don't really know what you do, so it's hard for them to talk about what you do with others. Having a mastermind, being part of a group like this, is a perfect place to have community, learn from each other, grow with each other, collaborate, co-create, do all of those fun things together. Plus, I love having expert speakers come in and give talks on how to do different things like launch things, or how to create your own sales process, or how to network like a badass on LinkedIn. There's so many things that I have coming up in the pipeline, and I would love for you to be part of them with my mastermind. So please, if you're interested, find the link inside the episode notes and sign up. I would love to see you there. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Personal Branding Podcast. My name is Lauren V. Davis, and I will talk to you next time.